Is there anybody here that has never heard the term biohacking? Never heard the term. Interesting. Everybody else has heard the word biohacking, I assume. Because it's a binary question, so I assume. Okay, perfect.
Impressive. I didn't expect this.
Yeah. But the crazy thing is biohacking, how deep you are into biohacking. Because, for example, sleeping well is a form of biohacking, but I don't know, injecting yourself with an experimental DNA solution, it's also biohacking, but an extreme version. So we're going to talk with Anni, things that we learned for biohacking and we're using or we're not using, but we could have used or whatever. And more importantly, things that you could do as entrepreneurs, startup founders, Web3 people, MetaVerse, product managers, marketing, whatever you want, to improve your health, clarity, whatever. There are stuff that some of them, they have some scientific background, others they have like placebo effect, but even if it's placebo, if it works, it works. So who cares? Do you want to talk like how we met? I keep saying this with everybody. Maybe we even discuss this how we met, but how we met about biohacking.
Okay, so last I was attending your previous conference, and then you said, I want to have biohacking at the next one. And I'm like, I'm so much into biohacking, it's my hobby. So I want to help you do anything that has to do with biohacking. And then Jon started doing some Instagram posts about what he's doing, like you were doing mouth tapping, I think, at the time. And I was responding, like giving him suggestions, and then we started this discussion about biohacking. And I've been like an amateur, like, you know, on my free time, I've been reading about biohacking and health optimization for years now. So he's like, okay, let's do a talk about biohacking. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to be able to give any advice. And, you know, we should all take what I say here not as medical advice. This is a disclaimer. I'm not giving advice. What I'm saying is just my opinion, so just go and consult your own doctor. But let's see, you know, we can discuss about it and we can open it up. And since everybody knows what biohacking is, except for people, it means that everybody kind of accustomed with the term. Okay. And why not? Let's bring it to Chris as well.
Of course, yeah, like if you get injured, just post it on Instagram and tag us, or can post on our social media that this idiot did it and got injured. So don't get injured unless you tag us. Don't do anything strange, even though we're not going to suggest anything super strange. We were planning to bring an ice tub.
We wanted to bring an ice tub for a cold plunge or a cryo sauna, which is what I really am doing right now. I'm going into minus 160 degrees Celsius for 3 minutes, 3 times a week, and I find it really invigorating. But then in the end, we thought it's not very, easy to get people in their underwear here to try the cryo sauna for 3 minutes. So
I thought that we're not going to wear underwear. That's why we didn't do it. Okay, fantastic. So the idea was that we were going to bring something super cold, and people will jump in and we'll talk about stuff. Maybe we'll even say if you manage to stay there inside this ice environment for more than 10 minutes, you will win something, a hat, but then we decided maybe we shouldn't kill the attendees to get a hat, so we stopped. We haven't removed it from the table, but we might keep it for a secret event of this conference. We'll see how that goes. So let's talk a little bit about the stuff that we are using to improve our health, our mental clarity, our energy, and everything, and maybe other people could relate, or maybe other people could add their stack, what they're using and why they're using it. Do you want to start, like, what are the supplements, or what is your thought process?
Yeah, I just wanted to say how I started going into biohacking, because I'm not a doctor and I don't have any medical degree, but I'm an engineer and I really love reading about statistics. So I started reading about statistics. I had an issue with my health a couple of years back. I was going into 30 and I was 30 years old, and I was not healthy. I didn't have any energy, I had brain fog, I had extra weight, I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing, and it wasn't helping. So I started reading about, what a normal 30-year-old woman has, and then I started reading the statistics about it, and the way statistics are made, I found so many faults in the statistics, being an engineer and being able to read the statistics. So I thought, okay, let me try some things, on my own. That's how I started. I started reading other types of statistics, all reviewed, peer-reviewed, Harvard Business Review, Stanford Medical, or PubMed, so nothing really experimental. And I thought, okay, let's try things. And it just happened to be helping. So at 35, I feel much healthier than at 29.
Yeah. I started, I want to say by mistake or by accident, as most of the things that I'm doing happen from accidents. Like this conference literally started from an accident last year. So I have a friend in Los Angeles called Sky, because Los Angeles, so her name has to be something strange that nobody uses. And she told me like, hey, I'm going to go with some friends to do an ice bath. And to tell you the truth, I hated cold water. Like literally, if I had to go and take a shower, it has to be scathing hot, like going inside and have burns on my, like I wouldn't go with nothing that's super, super cold. So I'm like, I don't think that's fun. It's like, no, it's fun. There's going to be a lot of people, especially wearing underwear. And I'm like, maybe, I don't know. A lot of people in Los Angeles, maybe I could go. So I went there and it was super fun. It was crazy cold, I hated it, but it was super fun because I like having fun with things I hate. Because if I do only things I like them like only in that moment. But I figured out if I do things that I hate, I like them for a little bit more. So it is this strange feeling. And I went there and there was a Wim Hof breathing seminar. For those that don't know, Wim Hof is a very strange guy that through a breathing technique and some other ice cold showers and stuff like that, he manages to change physiologically some stuff on himself. And there is crazy research about him. Like for example, they shot E. coli on his body. They put him in a hospital and they start tracking how he's responding, and his body like literally fought back without him doing anything. Which is, it was in a controlled environment. And then what was even crazier, he said like, you know what, I don't want you to think that I'm superhuman. I will take 5 random people, I will teach them how to do the breathing, and we'll repeat the test with them. And they repeated it and it worked again. Like these guys were able to fight it back. And his story is like very, very like sad story, how he ended up doing all these things with his wife, committing suicide, and how he went through all of that. And I'm not charging anything, I just want people to learn how to breathe properly, and there is a whole science why this works and everything. So, long story short, I went to...
Wim Hof has actually climbed Mount Everest wearing shorts and sandals. And it's like minus 20 degrees, minus 30 degrees.
Oh, yeah. Like he not only climbed Mount Everest,
the base camp,
4,000. He even ran in the desert without drinking water.
So doing cold plunges actually, or swimming in cold water like going to the sea and swimming in the winter, or finishing your shower with a very cold, turning your water to cold temperature, simple stuff, or even running an ice cube on top of your body makes you cold tolerant. So this means that you can tolerate cold much better than other people.
Oh yeah, for example, nowadays I could go surf in the ocean, which is kind of cold, without even wearing a suit. It's not where before that I would I'm not even going to the beach, like it's super, super cold. So it definitely grows on you and you can figure out how it works. But the funny thing, at least the things that I've learned from that small conference that they had with Wim Hof is that the way you breathe controls the way you react. And it was very strange, like the way that how you breathe controls your stress response, how clear you think, how fast you talk, how fast you recover, which for me it was like, okay, like how much difference could it have? For me personally, it has a huge difference. And after the breathing exercises, he has a free app that you can play and do all this stuff. I wanted to try the ice showers, which I hated. And his idea is like, there's no reason to go crazy. Start with a warm shower. And at the end, switch to cold and try to do 15 seconds, do it for a week, and then 30 seconds. So the moment I turned the 15 seconds, immediately I started breathing based on his technique. And I'm like, that's why he was teaching me like all this time how to breathe. And it was okay. Second time was better, third, like I've been doing this for like, I want to say 4 years. It doesn't get like, you're not going to go in and you're like, the last cold shower, but you can, no, that's not happening. But at least
I am enjoying the cold showers.
Unless you have an issue, like a mental issue, like you will not enjoy it. But the thing is that you can hear for me it was the first time that I heard my brain telling me like, why the fuck are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this? And he said like, there is a small voice that keeps talking all the time that you can ignore it. It's just an asshole talking to you all the time. And you could hear it. It's very strange that you could hear and ignore it. Like, no, there's no reason for me to do whatever you tell me. It's just cold water. I'm not going to die. Nothing's going to happen to me. So for me, my first attempt to biohacking was trying to figure out how cold water affects my body and then how breathing works. And now I was thinking, maybe we should try altogether the breathing. It might be either fun or not fun, but should you? Do we feel adventurous? Do we want to try it? Do we want to try the breathing? Okay, it might be super strange, but it might be also super fast. So, the whole idea is that you try to have less oxygen in your body because we get more oxygen than we need, it sounds very strange, but because our life is very stressed and everything, we keep getting more oxygen and actually we don't need that much and we need to increase our tolerance in carbon monoxide. So these exercises teach you exactly that. The trick, which we won't do here because 100% will get injured, the first time you'll do it based on the app, your mind will be blown because you will be able to keep your breath for 2 minutes. And you'll be like, that's impossible. Use the app, 100% you'll be able to keep your breath 1 minute, 30 seconds on your first attempt. And he also has some other stuff like, for example, start doing push-ups. Like you'll do, 10 push-ups, stop, do the breathing, and do push-ups again without breathing. Just hold your breath, and you'll be able to do 2 times more, which is insane. But just try it out. So let me tell you how the breathing works, and maybe we could try it. It's super fun. It's going to be like crazy how this will work. We're going to have 30 breaths in a very specific pattern, and then after the 30 breaths, we will exhale, but without losing all the air, so we're not going we just exhale and keep a little bit of air, and we're going to keep hold our breath for as long as we can, but we won't force ourselves. So I don't want everybody fainting because you try to do it for 2 seconds, for 2 minutes. So if you can do 10 seconds, that's fantastic. If you can do 30, amazing. If you can do a minute, get out of here. We'll figure it out. After we start inhaling, we'll get an inhale, and we'll keep it again for 5 seconds, and the 30 breaths start again. We'll do the second round. Now we're going the second round. We'll do the 30 breaths, and then we stop, we exhale, and we'll keep our breath. You'll see that now, if you did 10 seconds, miraculously, you might do 15 or 20. We'll do it again, all this thing for the third time, and usually the third time you go even further without trying to pressure yourselves. That's the whole idea, because if you fell on the floor, probably you'll break the record. So I would say, let's try. It's going to be super fast and see how it goes. If you need to breathe and just follow along and see how it goes. Relax, still stand straight and see how it goes. Do you guys want to do it? What do you think? Okay, let's do it. So let's start. I don't know if we can turn off a little bit the lights, but then everybody will sleep. So okay, let's not sleep. Let's not like that. Please keep your hands on you. Yes, I don't want people to be like things are happening. You can close your eyes. It's more preferable. Okay. So and the way we breathe is we breathe from the nose, we exhale from the mouth, and we breathe a lot from the nose, and we exhale forcefully from the belly. So, for example, it's like that.
So the belly should be inflated, right?
Yeah. So
it's a low diaphragm.
Yeah, so we breathe here. It's like... Okay, so we'll start. Can you count the breaths while I also do the breaths? So we have the 1, 2, 3 up to 30?
30 breaths.
30 breaths.
Okay.
Or do you want to do the breaths and I'll count?
No.
Okay.
Go for it.
If I faint, wake me up. Okay. 3, 2, 1. 3,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
Exhale. Hold your breath. Ten seconds. 20. Try to go to 30. 30. Deep inhale. Hold it. Exhale. Round 2. Breathe in. Breathe out. 2.
How many?
30.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
If you feel lightheaded,
10,
it's normal.
11,
If you feel your fingers tingling, it's normal.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
Exhale. Feel your heartbeat. Don't push yourself. If you feel your hands tingling, it's totally normal. It's the oxygen. If you feel lightheaded again, it's normal. 30 seconds. Let's try to go for 10 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale. Last round. Let's make it count. Starting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
Let's try for a minute. Relax. And just feel your heartbeat. "30 seconds. If you feel the urge to breathe, just breathe.
Another 20 to go.
Just fully relax.
10,
9, 8, 7, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. And breathe out. And that was the full session. Does anybody feel their hands tingling or something? Strange hands?
So now I guess somebody should come up here and do push-ups.
No push-ups. But let's open it up and I want to hear people that have a strange experience. For example, now my hands are still tingling. I feel my hands tingling. Some people, like if you watch the video, because when Wim Hof is doing is like very passionate, they are crying, they're on the floor. So I was trying not to overdo it because it's crazy experience. And most of the times you feel the tingling for a lot of time because it's the oxygen that goes all over your body. Like people, they say it's the energy, it's 100% the oxygen and you oxygenate everything. And if you have any oxygen thing that is counting your oxygen, you'll see that your oxygen drops a lot and then stays for 100 for a very long time. And you start feeling well, like you feel happy. So anyone that had any side effects or felt, or the first time they did 20 seconds and 30, a minute, that everybody managed to go more, like kept their breath. Let's have your experience. Let's go about it.
I managed a full minute by the end, and I felt like I could go longer in the second part, and I think the third part was a bit more tiring for me, and I don't know what's supposed to happen. Actually, I was very open-minded about it, and yeah, thank you.
Oh yeah. So usually the first time you do it, it's very strange. And if we didn't have 30 seconds, 40 minutes, a minute, the last one is keep your breath as long as you can. So for the first time, people are like, manage to hold the breath for a minute and a half, which usually we cannot. So you see the difference. But now I didn't want people to try to push themselves right here. You can try it at home. Never when you drive, never when you're near water. Always try to lay down, don't try to do it standing. There are some like things that you should never do. Anyone else had a different experience? I don't want to want to talk? So that you're talking. You in the back, I'm coming to you. So tell me about your experience, because you saw your hands. I think you felt it in your hands. Yeah, you did. I want to hear about it.
I also felt my foot.
You start feeling a little bit. Sometimes you also feel it cramping. Like sometimes it starts cramping because the oxygen goes. But what was your experience? How did you feel?
I felt like I'm going to faint out.
Also, the lightheadedness. It's because of the oxygen, but it's very difficult to like faint.
I feel that I'm going to feel out right now. It's a wonderful experience.
Okay. Anyone else? Panagiotti? What was your experience? As a data scientist, what's happening?
Yeah, so I don't know if that's something as a oxygen overdose. I think I have something like that because I have a light headache right now. I cannot feel my fingers, okay?
Same here.
They are tingling, as you said. But the oxygen overdose was the most, especially during the first round. Because I don't breathe correct. I don't know what's happening. So it was a strange experience.
Oh yeah. And did you manage to hold your breath longer and longer?
Yeah, I follow your guidelines, like 30 seconds, a minute, I don't know, 1.5.
So were you able to, if I told you let's do 2 minutes, or you were running out of breath?
I don't know, maybe I was running out of...
Perfect. It's not like people will try it for the first time and will go 3 minutes, but I have like a friend where she does 4 minutes, which is insane. Like 4 minutes you're holding your breath. Again, don't do it underwater.
So I've been in the biohacking sphere for about 5 years total. So Wim Hof exercises are amazing. And the important thing is that you can start building habits like that, and you can feel it. Like even with an exercise like that for a minute or 5 minutes, it's an incredible change you see. So my background is a little bit in health sciences. So the mechanism behind that are really fascinating, and when people start to understand how their body reacts, how it works, it's so much easier to start working with it instead of against it.
Oh yeah.
So support your body, love yourself, as in respect how your body works, instead of trying to push through problems with pure willpower, because that's inevitably going to lead to a burnout. So that's my takeaway from these kinds of approaches.
Thanks.
I guess this what John is trying to say now is that everybody has a different individual experience. So we hear like 3 different opinions so far. One thing, so everybody's biology is really different, so just observe how these things affect you. And the other thing is that there are some hacks that are really cheap, they're out there. So everybody can be doing a biohack just by breathing, or by exposure to light, or by exposure to temperature. And it's not that everybody has to spend money, like spend millions of dollars like they spend in the Silicon Valley to inject themselves with things that are disputable. You can implement small changes in your everyday routine that are sustainable and will make you feel better, optimized, like more energy, sleep deeper, eat better, like simple stuff.
Yeah, for example, one thing that I started like a couple of months ago was the mouth taping. So there is a brand called Hostage that they give you a mouth tape that you put it on your mouth and you sleep with your mouth like
so
shut.
apparently it's better to do nose breathing when you're asleep rather than mouth breathing. That's why some people snore. So if you tape your mouth, you force yourself to do nose breathing, which promotes REM sleep and deep sleep, right? Have you observed results in your metrics?
So first of all, because I slept at night, way higher oxygen levels during the night without so many spikes, better sleep, and maybe more dreams because I stay a little bit more in the REM state. The thing that was afraid the first time is that what if I take my mouth and I die because I cannot breathe? So instead of getting the Hostage tape, which literally you put in your mouth and that's it, like something happens and you'll be like, you can get any simple tape, usually it's called surgical tape, but try to find one that doesn't smell. Like, you know, when you hit yourself, you put like that, and you just put it lightly over your mouth. It doesn't need to be sat 100%. Like, for example, for me, if I just do this, it will fall off. So you just put it here. It kind of keeps it sat during the night. Huge difference, like super cheap hack. And I'm trying to breathe more from my nose. Like, for example, when we go for a run with Paul, the penis nipple, as we know him from now on. Yes, that's Paul right there. For people that just arrived and they don't know the penis, never. It's a whole thing. You should have been here. It was amazing.
That's a different game now.
We're split between 2 portmanteaus. It's either people
or
Ninas.
Ninas or people. Very long story about. You'll see it on the videos. So this is a very super easy hack. You just tape your mouth and see how it goes. Tons of research how it works and why it works. And yeah, it's a kind of easy hack.
I wanted to be able to recover very quickly from alcohol consumption. So I wanted to go out, drink, and then the next day I wanted to be able to work and not have any brain fog. So I started reading, what can I do about this? So I learned about binders. So apparently, I actually learned this from some friends of mine from Russia. They take something called activated charcoal after drinking alcohol. So activated charcoal is a substance that will bind with toxins and help bind with alcohol. So it kind of minimizes the effects of alcohol. It's used in medicine in cases of poisoning, for example. And alcohol can be a poison. One thing. Second thing is choosing what alcohol you're going to consume. So there are different types of alcohol and they have different effects on different bodies. So for my body, for example, I have identified that I go better with white types of alcohol. Like, I cannot tolerate whiskey or yellow tequila, for example, but I can very well tolerate vodka, which has the same the same percentage of alcohol, which is really weird. So I get no headache with vodka, but I do get a headache with whiskey.
I use the continuous glucose monitor, like all the craziness in San Francisco. So there was a startup that says like, if you're not diabetic, we can send you a device that it has a micro needle that you put it right here, and it's connected with your phone, and you can tap it, and it collects data how your glucose goes up and down. And again, I was like, I'm not going to put a needle on my hand, but literally because a micro needle, you just press it and it goes in, zero pain. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then they had an app where you log whatever you eat, and it tells you your metabolic resistance. So, for example, if you start eating pizza, you'll see that your glucose level will start going up and down, which is not beneficial for energy. You start getting hungry again. So the whole idea is that you eat stuff, you do your day, and then they try to optimize how to have a smooth ride instead of going like crazy.
So when to eat the pizza is also really important, right?
When and what to do afterwards. So, for example, everybody in the US says like bread, if you eat bread, like it's spiking non-stop. It does, because bread in the US has sugar. It has a lot of sugar, that's why it's super sweet, and that's why it's 1,000 calories bread. Like, for the first time I went there, like, why it has 1,000 calories? Because it has sugar. So if you eat bread, you are eating like a cake. So obviously you're going to have spikes. So I started using the app, and I saw that if I was eating anything, like I don't know, pizza, for example, and then I went for a 10-minute walk, I had a spike, but then I had a smooth drop to my average, which was insane. 10-minute walk. If I didn't went for the walk, I would have the
spikes and the insulin.
The spikes. And it was even worse with wine. If I had wine, I would have spikes random during the night, which means I'm not using fat correctly, I'm not in the REM sleep, I'm not recovering during night, everything is messed up, like your whole sleep score goes to waste. So I started doing all this stuff, and they had a community that they were telling you like, your physique seems closer to these people, so maybe you should start eating this stuff. And then a whole bag of worms opened, and they said that you could do also a DEXA scan. A DEXA scan is like an MRI, but it's not an MRI. So it's like you lay on a bed, and there's a system that goes above you and scans you. The radiation is equal to eating one banana. That's what they say. I don't know why the banana has radiation, whatever. So that's the equal radiation. And they scan you and they give you the percentage of fat you have, muscle imbalances, everything.
Do they also give you your biological age?
They give you the skin age, at least the one that I did, and the calories that you burn 100%.
The basic metabolic rate?
Basic metabolic rate. And some other data that personally I couldn't use, some strange other data, like based on your age, similar people had this percentage of fat, but because it's Los Angeles where everybody is an actor or an athlete, you're like, okay, and everybody else is like ripped, and I'm the fattest guy on the beach, so obviously that doesn't really help me. So this, having data like every couple of months, how your body is using fat, how your body is breaking down muscle, how this changes with glucose data, like change the way I eat, move, and everything. And that's why I have a lot of energy for a very, very, very long time.
And I guess you're also measuring your basic metabolic rate, your heart rate variability, your lower heart rate.
Yeah, I measure heart rate variability,
deep sleep, REM sleep,
oxygen levels, which again is just a device like $90, like super cheap. It's not. I'm not using all of this stuff. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars. They're super easy to use.
Another thing I found that really helps my sleep is red light. So apparently, if you expose yourself to red light during, after the evening hours, then your melatonin, your body creates more melatonin. So you go to sleep easier and you sleep deeper. So you need less sleep.
Oh yeah, and
And there are some glasses that are blue light blockers. So we are exposed to all this blue light from the artificial lighting, but also from our mobile screens, from our TV screens, from everywhere. So it's quite important to lower the blue light exposure.
oh yeah. For me, in terms of supplements, there is one supplement called L-theanine, which is not a really supplement. It's what?
Amino acid.
What?
Amino acids.
Amino acids, yeah. And it's like if you get an L-theanine pill, it's literally 200 times the green tea. Like they go to the green tea, they get all the amino acids and they put them there. So it's totally physical. You even buy it on Amazon. So there are no side effects. I mean, not a doctor again. Don't do stuff without checking it out. And the whole idea is that you have an espresso, which for me, I cannot have any coffee that's not decaf because I'm already high energy. I will go crazy. I will be talking 20 times faster. But you have an espresso, and instead of have the jittery feeling and the crash, you also have L-theanine and you have energy that is not crashing or going up and down.
Yeah, you don't want the energy, the sugar crash afterwards.
Yeah. Or the caffeine boost and crash.
By the way, a supplement that helps nails, hair, and skin is collagen and hyaluronic acid.
And biotin and copper and zinc.
Yeah, a big regulatory of all this stuff.
Yeah.
So if you figure out and read all the skin, nail, and whatever supplements, they all have hyaluronic acid, collagen, and blah, blah, blah. However, it's really important to say that there are different types, different quality. So you can get like the very cheap quality for 10 euros, and you can get the very expensive quality for 100 euros. Have you experimented with cheaper or more expensive stuff?
I tried, but usually because I'm trying to use the absolute basic materials, usually they're kind of the same. For example, L-theanine, you buy the expensive, the non-expensive, it's kind of the same amino acid. So it's...
I want to just make an example of eggs, right? So have you tried like the eggs from an organic market?
Oh yeah, always. Yeah,
Don't they taste different?
They taste different, yeah.
So imagine if the eggs taste different, the collagen, wouldn't it be different?
Obviously, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking at least.
But I cannot try it out. I have to see it. I have to maybe do a chemical analysis to figure out if it's actually different or it's placebo. Again, if it works, like... Okay.
That's another issue to be discussed, like with the hydroponics and all the intensive agriculture, the soil is depleted from many minerals and trace elements.
Yeah.
So that's why a chicken or, I don't know, a watermelon does not have the same trace elements as they did 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's why many people take supplements.
That's true. Oh, you have a question? Yeah.
If I can add in,
Yep.
Go ahead.
basically, intensive agriculture depletes soil microbes, so the plants do not absorb with their roots. They exchange sugars with the microbes to supply them with the nutrients from the soil, because the microbes make it bioavailable. So when they're using in intensive agriculture, fertilizers, pesticides, and all other chemicals like that, it depletes this process. So when they say that soil is eroding in a very fast pace in the States and that they have like 30 crops left, it's because they are degrading it like that. So there's been, along with biohacking and people trying to find their health, there's been a new wave of people trying to regenerate the soil and restore nutrition like that. So there's a new movement trying to enhance soil biology and turn agriculture back into its natural cycles.
Okay, thank you for that. To this, I want to add something about salt. So there is all this discussion about whether salt is good or bad for us. Maybe you've heard about it, right?
Yeah, so salt is a necessary, it's necessary for our body. The problem is when we chronically consume high carbohydrate diets and have spiked insulin. So insulin is a hormone that increases when you eat carbs. So insulin causes retention of sodium in the kidney. So if we have chronically elevated insulin, which is the case for most people on Western diets, that's going to cause this interaction with salt, that you retain it more than you should. So people, when they eat more appropriately, so that they have poorer levels of insulin, can consume much more salt than conventionally advised.
And also there are differences. We need to differentiate between salt, because what we see as table salt is actually bleached and iodized. So all the trace minerals and elements have been depleted, have taken away in a bleaching process. So literally they bleach it to make it white, and then they add the iodium. So normally sea salt has like 78 trace elements and minerals.
Sorry for interrupting. Let's continue this conversation afterwards because we definitely running out of time. We have 1 hour left and 3 more presentations. Yeah, so sorry about that. So let's talk about it afterwards. Let's go to Anni and our friend there and talk more about biohacking.
Let me add one last biohack that I do. So today you told me I look very bright and my cheeks are red. So I have found like a very good way to sweat. Because sweating is really important, because sweating is detoxifying us. So what I do is before I do exercise that I'm gonna sweat, like high interval intensity training, I take vitamin C together with vitamin B3, that's niacin. Niacin has 2 forms, a flushing form and a non-flushing form. The non-flushing form is the more marketable one because it doesn't make you flush. However, the flushing form dilutes the blood vessels, and makes you a bit redder on the cheeks as if you have just drunk wine. So I take this half an hour before my exercise, I sweat, and I sweat like crazy. So afterwards, I look healthier.
Oh, nice. So here we are. Thank you, Anni.
Thanks, Jon.